thing where they say, driver, with your right hand, take the ignition key, throw it out the window with your left hand on the steering wheel. They're trying to get this guy who led the po-po on like a half an hour, 45-minute chase or so. Of course, we're on a 1-minute delay here on KFI, so it doesn't really do a lot of good for me to do play-by-play. You can just turn on your TV, but we just hope you don't do that. And news maven Michael Chappé, what did they initially contact this guy for?
Apparently, it's a stolen car.
What?
But this guy, this person has crashed at least once. Like you say, at least the two right tires seem to be out. The person has stopped. I've seen some activity on the driver's side window, but now he's opening the door.
Driver's getting out. He's complying. He's complying with police instructions, and this is the part where they get out. They walk backwards to the rear of the vehicle, get out on their knees, put their hands on there. Yeah. But now he's back. Now driver's door back closed.
Supposedly it's a female driver there, Brian.
Oh, wow, really?
I'm not sure. But
after I just declared that 99%, well, this is the one time that you got a wacky female driver. And are we going with Jeep or Ford Flex? You know what? The back end, that's not a Ford Flex. I believe that's a Jeep. You don't normally see them riding on their rims, but I think that's a Jeep. So we'll see what happens with this. And I got to say, that's pretty new. I think that's a new Cherokee.
They got back in and shut the door.
Yeah. Women, right? So
that door's open again.
Oh, so she had to finish up her makeup.
I think she's in she's going to get back in.
And they're we're watching KCAL, and they're not able to zoom in anymore. Usually they don't anyway. But anyway, a Saturday night vehicle pursuit coming to, and now the driver's back in, and the door's closed.
The door's opening. I don't think they're zooming in case something happens. They don't want to be too close in on the shot. If something.
And then we've seen that happen here now.
She's back out.
So you know what? She's actually wearing a dress.
Yeah, wearing a dress. Looks like long blonde.
You know what?
Ponytail.
I'm going to say something crazy here. I think this person is dressed like a nun. I mean, did you not just see that?
Well, it is the Halloween season.
It is.
Yeah,
but
I did not see none.
It looked like she was wearing like a habit on her head, like a long white dress. So this is wacky. Anyway, it's interfering with the normal content of the Dark Secret Place.
Yeah.
And boy, is there a lot of stuff going on. Just to catch you up, earlier in the week, a series of missiles of the Chinese manufactured cruise missile, anti-ship cruise missile that they delivered to the Iranians and Yemen and other countries over the past 10 years were fired at U.S. Navy ships in the Red Sea. And now I have to paint a geographic picture on this. If you can picture Africa, well, where Africa meets the Middle East, of course, at Egypt, you have the Suez Canal. On the other side of the Suez Canal is the Sinai Peninsula. At the bottom of the Sinai Peninsula is the beginning of the long, elliptical, narrow and long Red Sea. At the southern terminus of the Red Sea are the Straits of Bab el-Mandeb, okay? And Egypt extends to the south, almost to the end of the Red Sea, but then Eritrea shows up, and Eritrea is across the water from Yemen, which is at the southern end of Saudi Arabia. And Yemen has a western coastline on the Red Sea, which is where the fun happened. And then it has a southern coastline in the Gulf of Aden, which leads into the Indian Ocean. Right across the water from Yemen is Djibouti, where I worked as a private contractor. And so I know the Yemen conflict. I know a lot of the dynamics about Yemen and the airspace over Yemen and stuff like that. So what happened earlier this week, as the missiles were fired at U.S. Navy ships, and then the next day the U.S. Navy ships fired back at radar sites, I had several contacts, phone calls, and emails from people in the national media asking for a quick 5-minute phone call to give them the background on the Houthi coup, which is now over almost 2 years old. The rock and roll Houthi coup, which is was in January of 2014. February of 2014, overthrowing a U.S.-friendly government. And now it's come to a head, and the primary reason, by the way, the driver is out, detained, handcuffed, and all that. And I didn't see it, but did it look like she was wearing all white?
No, she was wearing a skirt. She walked away from the vehicle a bit and then decided to walk back towards it, and that's when the deputies or the police made their move in South Pasadena. I guess she's on Monterey Road, so that might be interrupting people's Saturday night plans for a little while. But
so don't go bar hopping in Pasadena tonight. This is cleared
South
up.
Pass, yeah, she's going to the back of one of the cruisers, so they've wrapped her up.
Oh, bad times at Caltech. You know, they're all just they can just get back to League of Legends. The sirens are all over now. So what's going on in Yemen is it is a big deal because it's putting the United States in direct confrontation with Iran. And then about 3 hours ago, more missiles were fired at U.S. Navy ships. Now the Iranians are dispatching a flotilla of Iranian Navy ships. Their definition of a flotilla in this case is 2 ships. 1 combat ship, 1 logistical ship. But they will be sending more. And so the United States, because this happened, some of the critical mass in this story occurred on Friday. And the U.S. media, pretty much clocks out on Fridays. So events are going to be happening in the next couple of days that the media are not going to catch up on until Monday, but I'll tell you about them when we come back here after the break. The other deal that's going on right now is that U.S. resources, U.S. Army soldiers on the ground in Iraq and U.S. aircraft over Mosul have begun the artillery preparation for the liberation of Mosul. There are loads and loads of indicators that ISIS does not intend to fight for Mosul, that they intend to haul ass and get out. I'll tell you what those are, but even though the administration has been saying there's no boots on the ground in Iraq, part of the deal here is that if someone in the media ever asked the administration, what's your definition of troops or boots on the ground, then they would raise eyebrows because they would tell you, well, boots on the ground are not special forces or special operations guys. We consider boots on the ground to be regular infantry, armor, artillery, that sort of thing. And that's their metric. When they say, oh, there's not going to be any American boots on the ground in Iraq. Well, as of tonight, there's really no way to hide artillery. And U.S. Army artillery units are physically on the ground within 35 kilometers of Mosul because that's the range of the American artillery system. And we'll get to that because it's a dark secret place. And after I was an upstanding, square-jawed NCO, I became a field artillery officer, so I happen to know this stuff. And so there's a lot of irons in the fire because the world's melting down faster than before. And so the liberation of Mosul, kicking ISIS out of Iraq, appears to be days away, if not hours away. And possible direct conflict with Iran is hours away or days away as well. And then, oh, by the way, I'll tell you the difference between me and the White House is that I understand from Syria to Libya to Yemen, it's all one conflict. Because I see it the way the Iranians do. The White House sees it as Libya over there, Syria over there, Iraq next to Syria, different conflict, and then, oh, by the way, Yemen. No, it's all one thing. Putin thinks it's one thing, Iran thinks it's one thing, and the thing thinks it's one thing. So we're already setting ourselves up to lose pretty big before the presidential election. And then, oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that as well, because when we come back, I'll tell you why we're in one of the most dangerous periods in the past 2 decades in American foreign policy. Right after this, it's a Dark Secret Place, at Dark Secret Place on the Twitter machine. Brian Sitz here, back in a second. KFI AM640, more stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news.
4 people have been killed after a pickup truck veered off the bridge to Coronado Island in San Diego, slamming into a park below. Officials say at least